Hey, what's up, everyone? How's it going? Alright, yeah, I skipped out. I actually had something planned for Valentine's Day. I was going to do a whole big spoof. You know how these women, they go on there and they shake around and they have their tits out and shit like that, and they get millions of followers. And, being it was Valentine's Day, I had this whole big thing set up, man. Funny pictures and everything of me, I was going to do, and why aren't you in uniform? From SpongeBob. I was going to hop out and dressed up in all my graffiti gear and shit with a big can of spray paint. Yeah, but what happened is my son's like, Dad, man, according to your analytics, and I actually screenshotted it. We'll put it on here. Well, it's one of the screenshots. I think it's gotten a little more, but it's like maybe one girl follows me on here. It's like not even 1%. It's like 0.000.1. So it's like, yeah, it's a sausage fest, man. It's a bunch of guys that follow me analytically from the age of 24 to about 54, something like that, I believe. So I said, yeah, fuck that, man. I ain't gonna do all that Valentine's Day shit for a bunch of dudes, Anyway, yeah, there's that. Then I'm gonna get into some stories, but let me just clear up a few things first. Now, as far as it goes with me not being able to sleep, yeah, I'm still all fucked up, Still can't figure that shit out, man. Yeah. I mean, they took blood from me. I haven't got my results back from that shit, but yeah, I just can't sleep. It's like crazy shit. I mean, it's not blood pressure, because I've done the whole thing with the cuff. They had it on there, and they said my blood pressure went back to normal and stuff, but yeah, I don't know, but it is what it is. We'll figure it out. I live in one of the most, believe me, man, where I'm at right now, people don't die like that, man. It's like some of the best hospitals on the face of this fucking earth are right down the block from me. Like the Shah, the Ayatollah, when he had that big throat cancer, where they bring him down the block. They get the best burn unit, the best surgery, and they have Sloan Catering over here, the best cancer research and shit. I mean, I'm not saying I got fucking cancer or nothing like that, but whatever it is, I'll be alright. Don't sweat it, people. Y'all want me to die. You're like, fuck that dude, man. Die, motherfucker. That's that hate, Love to hate, Alright, so let's get into some shit. One more thing, alright. Now, remember I was bitching, well, not bitching, but trying to find a way to sell my artwork other than eBay, because eBay is being a dick. They're taking so much fees and all this and that. So what happened is Instagram. Actually, my friend D3 Sammy had told me he does pretty good off of Instagram. So I went on Instagram. Everything I put on it sells. So you guys want to find me? I'll be on Instagram. That's where I sell my shit. And that's not a bad idea either, because now you guys in Europe, which is probably 90% of my sales goes to Europe, whether it's France or Italy, a few people in Germany. But yeah, now you guys can still purchase your shit off me, and you can pay me through PayPal, and I'll mail you the shit out, man. So we got that figured out. And you know what I'll do? I'll put my Instagram right here, right now. Okay, go bing, bing, bloop, and my son will put it on. Alright, so there, that was my Instagram account. Now, that's where you could buy my artwork. You can look through it and see it. That's my art Instagram account. I have my vandalism Instagram account also, which is just regular RD357 or Real Deal RD357, something like that. But that's just me running around doing graffiti my whole life on that one. But the one that says Robert Dyer, RD, this, that, blah, 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 I'm going to screenshot it on here. It's fucking crazy. I don't even remember, what it is, actually. It's like all the, yeah. So we'll figure that out. But now, where were we? Yeah. Instagram, pay me through PayPal. Alright, now, another thing. Now, this is funny. This is a good story. I'm looking at, alright, a lot of people that know me my whole life, and especially my younger years, probably up until about 84, 1985. I was big on reptiles. Owned a lot of reptiles. Stole a lot of reptiles. So I got some funny stories, because the reason I'm mentioning this now is because I have one, and it kind of shows you the evolution of the pet trade, or the reptile herpetologist standpoint of it, and the graffiti culture and thing. So, yeah, it kind of runs similar. Because back in, early 80s, 1983, I think it was, 1982, 83, on 86th Street, they used to have a Petland discount. Now, you could walk into this Petland discount and buy, I've actually stolen from that place, a reticulated python. Now, you could buy these things that are maybe 1.5 feet long. They're babies. And these things are the largest snakes on the face of this earth. They grow fucking 20-something feet. Not an anaconda. Anaconda is the fattest, thickest, and heaviest. I'm talking about these reticulated pythons. Yeah, just put it this way. Back in the early 80s, you could walk into a pet shop. You could buy Nile monitors, those big fucking lizards, savanna monitors. You could buy reticulated pythons, African rock pythons, Indian rock pythons, all this crazy shit. Now, after this guy, it's probably say the late 80s, early 90s, 90-something, it started getting a little tougher to own these type of reptiles. And then eventually, within the city limits, these huge pythons and shit like that were no longer for sale. You couldn't purchase them in places like Petland. But anyway, let me get back to the Petland real quick. My brother, Sean, he used to work in Petland. So, he had free reign of the place. I mean, I swear, he threw out a 150-gallon fish tank, man. We went back, it was like 4 of us, and took that shit home, man. Yeah, put it in the back. He would steal everything from the fucking place. And the guy that owned the place was Al, a big, fat, heavy-looking dude. So one day, my brother's like, yo, he had a big saltwater tank and shit. Freshwater tank, he had cichlids, he had the African cichlids and the brackish water, he had the South American cichlids, like, you know, regular run-of-the-mill, your Jack Dempseys, your Firemounts, Red Devils, convicts, all that shit. I'm going somewhere with this, believe me, I'm going somewhere with this. So now, make a long story short, I was in the pet shop, he's like, yo, Rob, steal me that rock fish, right? So it's like, it looks like a rock at the bottom of the tank, right? So I'm like, okay. Now the way I would do it, I got to stand up for a minute to show you. I would take like, an orange juice container, a carton, almost like a milk carton, but it's long, it's like this. I would take that, and it would be empty and washed out from my house. Now I'd take this carton, and it would be empty. Tropicana orange juice, completely empty and washed out. So I'd go in there, I'd get a little bit of the water from the fish tank into the fucking carton of orange juice container. I'd go like that, scoop up a little water, and so I go in for the fucking stonefish, it was called. I swear to God, I grabbed the fucking thing. I lifted it maybe an inch off the gravel, and my whole fucking left arm went numb. I was like, oh. I swear, I couldn't even like go like this to take it out. I had to use this hand to pull my hand out. Like I was like, yo, what the fuck? And yo, my brother was laughing his fucking ass off, man. He was dying. Apparently that thing fucking paralyzes you when you touch that shit. But yeah, he was dying laughing, man. He was cracking up. Like he knew that shit was going to happen. He fucked me up. That shit, I swear, my whole left arm was numb for like 2 hours. Actually, it was my right arm. It was numb for like 2.5, 3 hours. I was like, yo, I actually walked over to the New York hospital. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to tell them? Like, I got bit by a stonefish? Like, they're going to be like, what the fuck is a stonefish? You know, as I'm in there, like, I start getting, like, feeling like I can move my fingers a little bit better and shit, so, and I'm actually explaining to these people, like, you know, my friend's pet stonefish, and this and that, and they're like, I mean, this is way before the internet and cell phones and shit like that, so like a fucking stone, but I know what happened, like, the tingling, like, it just started feeling cold, like my fingers fell asleep in my hand, but then it started moving again, so I just kind of, like, left. I got out of there, I was okay after that. Still to this day, I don't know, man. That shit might have took 10 years off my life, for all I know. But yeah, crazy old stonefish, man. That's one funny story, man. Anyway, the reason I'm getting into this is because they have this new thing out called the Lacy Act. I believe it was in Improve America plan or something with Biden, the president and stuff like that, or whatever. I don't know the whole ins and outs of it. But a few of my friends that remember me in the reptile trade, they sent it to me. And according to what I'm reading is, like I just said before, back in the days, I was able to walk into a pet shop and purchase, even though I stole one. I just cut a hole in the screen lid, go in, grab it, pull it out, stick the fucking thing in my pocket, zip my pocket up, and go. I've taken larger snakes, put them in pillowcases, and stuck them in the sleeve of my coat, and left. But anyway, another Sammy D3, he stole me a king snake. Was a fucking thing that bit him on the hand, wrapped around him. I mean, this is when they came out with all these weird herps and these albinos and shit like that. It was a pretty cool snake he was getting. I think it was for my birthday or something. Yeah, anyway. Yeah. Where was I with this whole thing? Yeah, the Lacy Act. Alright, so now you have this Lacy Act. Look it up. I browsed through it. Pretty much what it's coming down to now is you're not allowed to carry like any animals that like weren't born in America, like past state lines. Like eventually you're not going to be able to own anything. Like, and that's even in the aquarium trade, like Siamese fighting fish, anything South American cichlids, African cichlids, fucking saltwater fish, birds, fucking reptiles, amphibians, fucking arthropod spiders, fucking scorpions. All that crazy shit is over. Like, yo, if this thing goes into effect, this shit is over. It's past. Now, thinking back about all the crazy shit I've encountered in my life, there's one time that really freaked me out. And I was on a crack mission. I was smoking crack. Now, what had happened is, I forget what it was. Like I said, we were burglarizing a lot of shit and robbing a lot of apartments, breaking into a lot of stores and shit like that. I forget what it was this one particular time. It was either a collection, because I've dealt with both so many times. Just robbing apartments, I've come across so many different coin collections. And robbing people's apartments, I've come across so many different stamp collections, shit like that. And sometimes I'd actually go in there to target these people's collections because that's what I was there for. I already knew what they collected and stuff like that, and I'd steal their shit. So anyway, I forget what it was. It was either a coin collection or a stamp collection. And I winded up in Washington Heights, in a Dominican neighborhood up in the 170s. I was going there to get these things appraised and sold. So the one dude I went with, I remember he spoke English and shit, you know, a friend of mine. He's from uptown a little further than where I live and grow up and stuff, but he's almost on the border of Harlem. So I was like, hey, you know, this, that. So he brings me up to this place. I swear to God, it's a one-bedroom apartment in Washington Heights. And it's up on the west side of Manhattan. I believe now they call it Hamilton Heights. It's kind of like the whole West Side Story. The Jets, that area. For you guys that aren't from New York. Very violent, especially during this period of time, during the crack epidemic. It's crazy, man. You had the Dominicans. They were fucking killing each other, killing everyone. Just, yo, so many drug wars and turf wars. And just, yo, that's my corner to sell. It was really fucking wild up there. I actually got my face cut open. No, it's this side, right? Yeah, I got my face cut open on 175th Street. Underground in AA tunnel by Dominican dudes. Anyway, getting back to this thing. So I'm going up to this apartment. I go up 4 flights of stairs with my friend. I go in this apartment. It's a one-bedroom apartment. It's not furnished for a human being to live in. I go into the living room of this apartment. And there's like a card-playing table that folds up. On the table, it had like a scale. There was a 9mm on the table. There was an AK-47 leaning against the wall off to the side. And then there was one whole wall just filled with fucking cages. I mean cages, like just cages with these cockatoos in them. Now these cockatoos, that's them birds, they're big white bird, not a cockatoo or a cockatiel or a you know, these are cockatoos. Right? Not like the little parakeet one, man. He's very expensive, like Beretta, that TV show Beretta, the big white cockatoo. They actually have vocal cords and could speak. Anyway, so there must have been about 40 or 50 of these fucking big-ass cockatoos, all locked in small little cages, right? So I'm looking at them, and they're actually killing themselves. They're pulling their feathers off, and they're horrid conditions. There's bird shit all over the actual floor of the apartment and the cages. There's bird shit all stuck on the fucking cage itself, like the metal structures of it. Just looks like no one's cleaning the cages or giving them water or food or any fucking thing, you know. bunch of these birds. And they are honestly committing suicide. They're killing each other, and then they're actually killing themselves. Like they don't want to live. It's the saddest fucking thing I ever seen in my fucking life. So, anyway, on the other wall, now this is just like a one-bedroom apartment. I never actually got into that other bedroom. However, on the other wall, there was a 55-gallon fish tank. It's not too big, it's not too small. It's maybe 3-4 feet long, maybe 1 foot back, and maybe 2 feet tall. So it's not that long. Anyway, in this fucking 55-gallon fish tank, that was known as a gaboon viper. For real. One of the most poisonous snakes on the face of this fucking earth. They got the biggest fucking teeth. These fucking poisonous snakes, you know, I believe, if not, maybe it might fall under the king cobra because of the king cobra's actual size. But yeah, these gaboon vipers are known to like expel the most amount of venom ever. I believe they actually have the largest fangs too. So when this thing bites you, it's gonna fucking inject you with like a shot glass of fucking venom. A lot of venom, not no little drop or two. This fucking thing's gonna go and just fill you up, man. It's gonna fucking inject you with like a shot glass. Literally, like this one, like a fucking glass of fucking venom is gonna go into you, man. You ain't living. God himself, God up above himself can't even fucking help you at that point. Even in New York City now, you gotta realize, even if your heart beats a few times and you're actually able to get to a hospital, what the fuck are you gonna tell them? You got bit by a gaboon viper? They're gonna be a gaboon viper. I mean, they might, by the slightest chance, have anti-venom for a rattlesnake, just because a rattlesnake is somewhat common to North America. It's not that far-fetched, you know what I mean? But a gaboon viper, they ain't got no fucking venom, fucking anti-venom for that shit, you know? They're gonna have to fly some shit in on a helicopter or something. You're dead. You're dead. You're fucking dead as a fucking doornail. You're not gonna live if you get bit by a gaboon viper. Google it. Big, beautiful looking fucking snake, don't get me wrong. You definitely don't want to curl up with the thing and kiss it on the nose. So anyway, make a long story short. Off to the side, there's like a little corner ottoman, like sofa. And there's a girl there, she's kind of attractive. She's maybe, I don't know, at that point I was probably 19 years old, 20 years old. Yeah, this is probably about 1988, maybe 87. Now, it was a little earlier. Yeah, maybe even 86, 87. Anyway, around that, late 80s. So I was probably about anywhere from 18 to 20 years old at this point. So, you know, it was a pretty girl there. She's Spanish. She don't speak much English. Actually, no one, the dude I was with spoke English. He was from, like, raised in New York, but I believe he was Dominican. So, anyway, you know, I'm talking to her and she's talking to me and this and that. And I noticed, like, they're smoking crack. You know, say, you know, says, oh, you know, like, almost hiding it. Nah, like, I don't give a fuck. So then all of a sudden, they're like, here, you want some? I'm like, hell yeah. So I'm smoking this shit. It's like, there's one lady keeps coming out of that one room that I never went in. And she's a pregnant Dominican woman, big belly, looks like maybe 7 or 8 months pregnant. I don't know if she was actually smoking crack or not. She was going in the other room. But she kept going over to this 55-gallon fish tank. When I say fish tank, I mean a glass tank. Of course, there's not water in it. There's a big gaboon viper in this fucking tank. Right? So she keeps going over there, looking at it and checking the lid on it and shit, you know. And she goes back in that room. 5 or 6 minutes later, she'll come back out and do the same thing. And when you smoke crack, that shit makes you very paranoid. Your heart goes, you know, and you start bugging out. You think you're going to get arrested. You see, that was my gig. A lot of people would peek out the window. Some people would play with light switches. Especially, I mean, I'm going on 14, 15 hours of me sitting in this place by now. The person I went with the coin collection, our stamp collection, he's come and gone already. He's left. I wound up hanging out with this girl, and she was attracted to the amount of money I was throwing around. So we were sexually involved. We were sexually active that day, yeah. We're doing our thing. And I'm smoking. She's smoking. And I sold with the collection that I had, and I had to save half of the money for whoever else was involved with me at the time. I'm not going to get their name involved because they got family and children now and all, but they're living and they're doing well and all. Anyway, I'm sitting there 14, 15 hours later. I pretty much smoked the whole fucking coin collection, stamp collection. Where, I'm over there scraping out my pipe and shit, So, now what happens is, this lady, this pregnant lady, she comes out again. She's looking at this Gaboon Viper cage. And it was very dim light lit, the apartment, because people don't like bright light when they're smoking, Anyway, she comes out, looking around and shit. All of a sudden, she said something in Spanish. And the other dude that was sitting over there with me, hanging out, smoking, he said something back in Spanish. He hops up. They start looking around the fucking apartment. So I'm like, oh, what the fuck? They're doing shit. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck they're saying. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about or anything. But anyway, yeah, it winds up that they're looking around and shit. So I said, what the fuck? I said, yo, what's going on? I mean, I got whatever. So I get up. Like, they're on their hands and knees, like, looking under the fish tank. They're looking under the fucking ottoman that we were sitting on and shit. They're looking over there, these birds. And, see, now, that's another thing. Like, when you're smoking crack, loud, like, that shit fucks with your ears, man. And these birds just don't shut up. They're like, they're ripping each other apart. And now I'm like, these Spanish people, like, crawling around the fucking floor. I thought maybe they were looking for rocks and shit, because that happens, too, when you smoke. You feel like you drop something, you start looking around for shit on the floor that's not there and stuff. So I figured that was just their, like, little vibe, But then, like, I started realizing, like, this lady's, like, hitting the side, and pointing around. I'm not being disrespectful to Spanish. I just have no other way of expressing what was going on. I'm a white man. I'm American. I don't know Spanish. So I'm just telling you how my brain is getting this shit. No disrespect. So, yeah, they're flipping the fuck out. She's smashing herself, yelling at this guy. He's yelling at her. I think maybe they're fighting over a rock of crack or something, So finally, I get a little uncomfortable. I go over, I look, that fucking tank is empty, man. The 55-gallon tank, the fucking Gaboon Viper was in it. It's not in there, yo. Like, the Gaboon Viper's, like, loose in the fucking apartment somewhere. I'm like, like, yo, I froze. I was scared shit. I didn't know how to move. I mean, yo, Google that shit, man. Gaboon Viper, man. I was freaking the fuck out. I was like, yo, I'm leaving, man. They wouldn't let me leave in case the thing gets out the apartment or something. I'm like, yo, fuck you, man. But these people were packing, too. Like I said, on the table, they had guns and shit. I ain't have no shit like that. So, yeah, that was a pretty crazy ordeal, man. That shit went on and on and on, man. I don't remember them ever finding the fucking thing. Finally, the other dude came back that I was originally went with, and I left with him. I'm like, oh, dude, I don't know about this fucking thing. What did they think? I stole their Viper? You think I got the shit stuffed down my fucking pants or something? Like, yeah, I was honestly being kidnapped. Yeah. He was like, no, man, come on, man. I was like, what do they want to check me? I'll strip down right now. Like, I don't give a fuck. Ain't nothing new to me. I was telling him, like, I'll strip down naked. If you think I'm stealing your fucking Gaboon Viper, that's the last thing on my mind, man. Not to mention how much money I just spent there. Like, you people pretty much got a fucking coin collection or a stamp collection for free. Like, yo, for real, like, they were keeping me there at gunpoint until they found this Gaboon Viper. I didn't understand it. I mean, you would see it if it's sneaking out the door. Like, if I open the door to go out real quick, all you gotta do is look around in front of the door. It's not near the door. Okay, Robert, leave. And okay, it didn't go out the apartment door. I mean, that's a Gaboon Viper. What the fuck are you gonna do even if that thing is right there, man? You ain't gonna pick that shit up, man. What the fuck can you honestly do? I mean, it's not like they had a fucking snake hook, at least nothing that I saw. They were running around with broomsticks and shit. Like, true fucking story, man. Yeah, ended right around there, man. Funny shit. Not much to do about graffiti, but yeah. Now, getting back to this Lacy Act. Apparently, you're not allowed to bring these reptiles, any reptiles. I'm not just talking about poisonous reptiles. It's getting to the point where now, like, you're not allowed to own anything other than a cat or a dog. I'm serious. If you really look into it, okay, I'm exaggerating right now, this minute. But you got to realize how the government works, man. Once they sign something into effect, it's into effect. It only builds from there. Very seldom will it get out of effect. Like, once it's passed at the Senate and shit like that, yo, it is in stone, okay? And now they can only build on that from other species. Fuck, 10 years from now, y'all ain't even going to be able to own a dog, man. For real. Think of it that way. But then on the other side of it, when it comes to like these extreme exotic animals, like I just told you with this toucans, the fucking cockatoos, yo, like the way them things was suffering, and I know these people, like those things were wild caught, and they were trying to, like, they were selling them to the market, or selling them to friends or something, but they weren't breeding these fucking cockatoos, man. They got them fucking things illegally into this fucking country. Them poor things were ripped out of fucking trees, yo, and put in a little fucking cage, and now they're gonna be sold to some 10-year-old kid that don't know what he's fucking doing with it. Yo, that's my opinion on shit. Like, yo, I know a girl, she had a ferret. I mean, I was, we were sexually involved and shit. But, I mean, she talking to this ferret like it's a fucking baby. Now, this ferret's trying to kill the fucking bitch, man. I'm calling her a bitch because I really don't think she understood what was going on. She said, oh, I don't understand why you don't come. I'm like, because you're his capture. It's like, yo, just picture that, just look at this shit as jail, all right? That ferret is in Rikers Island, and you're technically a correction officer to that fucking ferret. That ferret wants to stab your ass up. Like, yo, straight up. Like, you see, I'm against that shit when it's called, captive bred is okay. And when it gets to snakes, they're not really smart creatures. They don't really mind. Like a goldfish, or like how they do with Nemo, it keeps it with its memory expansion and shit. That's true with a lot of species. But when you start getting up there with, like, Nile monitors, they're very intelligent. Like some lizards and monitors and iguanas, very intelligent. Of course, your cobra is a very intelligent snake also. But, when you start getting into lizards and shit, but basic king snakes and stuff like that, I don't really see that much harm in it. But, yeah, man, like those, even the little red-eared slider painter turtles that you buy downtown on Canal Street for $5 or $10. Even those things, man, they need a lot of fucking space, man. And it kind of breaks my heart. Like, my son was little, and he kind of pointed that shit out to me, man. He's like, yo, this shit is sad, yo. Like, when you have them little turtles, the little turtle just sits there looking at you like, come on, man, let me out, please, please. Like, the thing didn't commit no fucking crime, man, So, honestly, like I said, I had a lot of reptiles. But when I had fucking big old Gilbert, reticulated python, before I got locked up and went up to Spofford, and she was about 9.5, 10 feet, man. Yeah, he was pretty fucking big, man. Yeah, he got big, and then he winded up in Small Worlds up there on 89th Street, 3rd Ave. They shut down, but yeah, there's a big snake. They had him up above the cash register in a huge built cage. That was not a cage that you could buy in a store. This is something they actually built for him. So he had a good life. They shut down, and I believe they kept fucking Gilbert, my snake, and stuff. But, you got to think about that, things like that. Like, a dog is a domesticated creature. So a dog actually likes humans and companionship. It's not like you're its owner, like it's a slave or something to you. A dog, although some people do treat dogs that way, but dogs, you treat them good, they treat you good. It's a different type of situation. Dogs have pretty much been bred from wolves to be more humanized there. Yeah, dogs are cool. Cats even, I see a lot of people, like every single relative I had that lived out in the country, whether it's Long Island or Virginia or wherever the fuck, they all had cats, but, they'd leave these cats, like they would just run around outside. Now, what do you think these cats are doing outside? They're fucking other cats. They're making baby cats, and they're ripping apart birds all day, man, killing beautiful fucking birds, that are North American, like blues, all types of, so it's not cool either, man. If you're going to have a fucking cat, man, keep a cat in the fucking house, And, like, as far as it goes with exotic animals, it's almost like the way the criminal law is now. It's like, you can't do that, man. You can't. Like, when you're allowed to own these, people always will go to the extreme. I know people, the Bondi brothers, the Bondis, Matt and Joe Bondi, them motherfuckers own, well, they did back then, like gaboon vipers, and all types of crazy fucking otters and shit like that, like real poisonous snakes, And that's what happens. You always have people that go to the extreme of the spectrum, And that would even fall under, like, with the criminal activity now. It's like, you got this guy, oh no, we're not going to lock up non-violent criminals. What the fuck you think a non-violent criminal going to think? He's going to think, fuck yeah, let's set it off. And they're going to rob and steal everything. You know why? A criminal's mind, including mine, my mind thinks this way too. Whenever I steal something and I get away with it, I'm never happy. You know why? I always think about what I left behind. what more I could have got, how much more I could have fucking gotten. I'm dead fucking serious. You're never happy with what you actually got, and you're like, you know. And that's how my mind worked with graffiti. That's where I would just go, go, until there's nothing left. Like I'll just hit one spot until I run out of paint. And I'm like, okay, I'll come back next week or something, you know. Like, yeah, it's, you never think about, hell, even Cap. NPC, I don't know if he likes being associated with NPC now, but even him in that movie Star Wars, he says it's about more. You know, that's a criminal mind. Like, you could steal, I'm going to use this as an example. I never actually walked off with $1 million, but you could steal $1 million and then be bitching about the 50,000 you left behind in the safe. You're like, fuck, but I could have had 1,050,000. You know, it's like you're never happy with what you actually walk out with. You always want more. You know, it's greed, but it's just a criminal mindset. And, you know, honestly, that's what happens in the exotic pet trade. Like, yeah, okay, not everyone's going to run out and buy a boa constrictor, you know, oh yeah. No, people are going to go for the rattlesnakes, the fucking cobras, the spitting cobras. Imagine owning a fucking spitting cobra. Fucking thing could spit venom in your fucking face from fucking 10 feet away, 15 feet away. Yeah. Right in your fucking eyes, man, and it don't miss, you know. So I do believe that there has to be some kind of regulations on these shits, man. A lot of people do own a lot of crazy shit, but as the way they're going about it with this Lacy law, it's like, all right, you can't own an animal. Like, say I owned, I don't know, a fucking African, I don't know, a turtle, a tortoise from Africa. I can't bring that thing to New Jersey. I can't bring that shit to where, you know, like, you can't leave your state with that animal. And then eventually, if you don't have your animal, like, a permit for it, it's illegal. It's like $50,000 fine, possible enjailment and shit. Okay, how are they going to catch you with the turtle, this, that? That don't matter, man. And that's a law that's in effect, man. You know, like, for real, that's some serious shit. Like, suppose, all right, look at all these people that own these that do these reptile conventions up in Westchester County. They can no longer bring their reptiles to that fucking Coliseum to actually show you reptiles and have you buy them. And they're all pretty safe, cool, family-friendly reptiles, like ball pythons, geckos, and shit like that. I mean, very seldom, you know, you go south, you'll start seeing some rattlesnakes and shit like that at a lot of these conventions, and gaboon vipers and shit like that, you know. I mean, there are people that are licensed and capable of handling these poisonous snakes and shit, and yeah, I guess they should continue to own them. But now, from what I understand, it's like, nah, man, you used to have this little clause where it could be research purposes only. Like, you're not selling it, you're not keeping it as a pet, you're somehow involved with an institution that is researching this animal. But, yo, that don't even work no more, man. Yeah, they, like, locked up all it, and a part of me is happy. Like I said, a part of me actually, I mean, that's kind of because I'm in my 50s, and I have no real, like, passion for reptiles right now. I'll tell you another thing. You remember the little betta fish, the Siamese fighting fish? You go in the store, you get them for like 99 cents or something like that. I'm going to show you one a friend of mine gave me, man. Yo, look at the shit that they get these things to look like now. Remember they used to be all just red or blue? This is what's known as, what the fuck, a galaxy koi betta. It's a male. It might look like a female, but check her out. Give me a sec. But I mean, you know, just the whole pet trade with all these morphs and shit to where they're getting. I don't know if you can actually see them in there. I just got them in here for you showing purposes, but you know, you see them in there? Hello? It scared the fuck out of the poor thing. Let me see. I can't even get it right. Now, look at the coloration. Look at the blues and the reds and that shit. And that's called a koi, as it spreads. It's almost like what you would call a cow in a pit bull. Very beautiful, man. You know, compared to the way they were. Now they're really starting to go off on all these hybrids and shit like that. And even with the snake world, my brother actually owned a pair, male and a female Burmese pythons, albinos, when they started fucking around with that. And they got pretty big, too. And he got locked up and snakes went away. Also, because he wasn't supposed to own them. I think that was actually an extra charge. He got in trouble. But, yeah. And you had the tiger retics. Oh, beautiful, man. They almost look like a pigeon's neck when they move, like that indigo color, man. Real beautiful shit, man. And, yeah. Enough with that shit, man. Now, let's leave it there today. You know, I'm sorry I missed out a couple days, but I'm still fucking like, yo, look at this shit, man. I don't know. All right, people, you guys take care of yourselves. I'm going to show you pictures of a gaboon viper. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Like, I'll just Google. I'll get one off the internet. All right.